I am Alyssa, and today I'm showing you my November and December 2018 Geeky pickups. I decided to combine these 2 months because there wasn't a lot of purchasing in December, and I have quite a few Black Friday pickups because Black Friday I went ham because there were so many good deals, and I feel a little ashamed of myself, but you know, we're gonna go with it. And yeah, I'll have timestamps down below in case you don't want to see books or movies or games or whatever. You can jump around to whichever section you want to see. But we'll first start off with collectible stuff, like Funko Pops, etc. The first Funko Pop I got was Sailor Jupiter from Sailor Moon, and I did take her out of the box because it had a big ugly sticker on the front, but she's just so pretty. I only have Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask, so to have another Sailor Scout is amazing. And she is just so cute. Ah! I love her! The next pop is Alex DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange. I love both the film and book of the same name, and the character of Alex I hate, but you're supposed to hate him. And this pop is just too cool. He's got his signature eye makeup on right there, and he looks just, the fedora, the cane, you can't really see it, but on his sleeves he has eyeballs. It's just, he's such a cool pop, and I haven't taken him out of the box because the back of it just looks so cool. And Alex is just such a cool pop in general, so I'm really excited to have him in my collection. And the last pop and collectible I got was this amazing floral TARDIS. If you have seen Doctor Who, you know that this is the TARDIS that Clara had decorated, and it's just so pretty. I do not have the regular TARDIS pop, which I feel really bad about, but this one is so gorgeous. It's so stunning. It's even got a little picture of her there on the front. And it's just so pretty! Now moving on to the movie portion. The first one up is actually not a movie, but it's related to a TV show, so I'm including it in this section. But it is a She-Ra and the Princesses of Power t-shirt that DreamWorks sent me. I absolutely love the TV show, and they sent this to me to celebrate the success of the show's first season. Someone's messaging me, probably my boyfriend. I love this shirt, it's super comfy, it's so cute. They also sent collector cards that I forgot to grab for my room, but I posted a picture on Instagram showing them off, so if you want to check that out, follow me on Instagram. Hint hint, wink wink, nudge nudge. But thank you DreamWorks for sending me this amazing shirt. I love it to pieces. Not literally to pieces because that means I couldn't wear it, but you get my drift. Most of the movies I bought were on Black Friday, but the first few I'm going to show you are not. First up, I got the 30th anniversary limited edition collector set of My Neighbor Totoro on Blu-ray. Did I already say Blu-ray? Probably, and I'm probably being redundant, but oh well. But this comes in this beautiful case, and it's very jam-packed tight. But there's also an essay book, which includes the soundtrack and the movie, and an art book, and it's just stunning. I can't get it out to show you, but it's stunning, and if you are a Studio Ghibli fan, a Totoro fan, you definitely need this in your life if you can get your hands on it. It's extremely well priced, and it's just gorgeous. Again, there are pictures on Instagram if you want to see the art book and the essay book and all that great jazz. The next movie is Crazy Rich Asians. I love this movie, and I knew I had to have it in my collection because it's one of those movies I can see myself watching over and over again. It's just a lot of fun, it's vibrant, it's colorful, it's a Cinderella retelling basically, and I just needed it in my collection. And the last movies I got that were not Black Friday deals was this amazing two-set collection of Wes Anderson's stop-motion films, The Fantastic Mr. Fox and Isle of Dogs. I have yet to see Fantastic Mr. Fox, to be honest, but I loved Isle of Dogs when I saw it in theaters and knew I wanted to have it. They're both Blu-rays, and they were such a good deal for this bundle. I have a phone call, hold on. I am back from my phone call. I know that was probably like a second for you guys, but it was longer for me. But let's get back to the pickups now. Now all these movies I'm about to show you were Black Friday pickups that I got in California. I had to lug all these back home, but I somehow managed to cram them into my bag. You'll understand what I'm talking about when I show you the amount of movies I have. It's ridiculous. First up is the 2017 It. I adore this movie. It scared me when I watched it in theaters, and I cannot wait to revisit it. It, ha 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 ha. But Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise is phenomenal in this movie. If you haven't seen it, you like horror movies, you need to watch this version of It. It's so much better than the 80s miniseries. I swear, it's way better. I love Tim Curry as Pennywise, but that was kind of boring. This isn't. Please don't kill me if you actually like the 80s version better. Please. Is an opinion. I also got The Greatest Showman because I adored this movie when I first saw it. The music is so catchy. Hugh Jackman is just... I mean, he's Hugh Jackman. He's captivating. He's fun. The rest of the cast are great as well, and it's just so much of a mood lifter, and if you listen to the songs once, they'll be stuck in your head forever. Dunkirk is up next. This is a phenomenal film from Christopher Nolan. I have not seen it on the small screen yet, but watching it in theaters, the sound design was impeccable. It felt very tense and claustrophobic, and I cannot wait to see how it compares on a smaller screen at home rather than on the big screen, but I've heard it's still phenomenal from other people who have watched this release. I finally have John Wick in my collection, which is the 4K Ultra HD, which I do not have a 4K TV, but it does have the regular standard Blu-ray in it. John Wick is one of my favorite action movies from the past few years. It's just perfect, basically, from start to finish. Keanu Reeves kicks major ass. I do hate the spoiler if you haven't seen John Wick and haven't heard the spoiler. Dog scene. That's all I'm gonna say. But the rest of the movie is just pure badass action. I also picked up Machete, which, ignore the price tag there, but I love Machete. I know a lot of people don't like it, and I can see why. It's very cheesy, over the top, but Danny Trejo is just so much fun. This movie is so much fun. I love Robert Rodriguez as a director, and I even like the sequel to this, Machete Kills. So I had to get this when it was so super cheap. The next movie is Phantom Thread. I have very fond memories of this movie because this is one of the movies I first watched with my boyfriend when I first met him. But it's such a great movie, especially considering this is supposed to be Daniel Day-Lewis's final acting role. Paul Thomas Anderson movies are hit and miss with me, but I adored this movie. The fashions in this movie are just awe-inspiring, which they should be considering this is about a fashion designer, and it's just a lovely, twisted movie that I highly recommend you watch. I also have John Wick Chapter 2 because I like this movie as well. It's not as good as the first John Wick, but it is still full of badass Keanu Reeves action. And I seriously cannot wait for John Wick Chapter 3 because this franchise is just balls to the wall amazing. I also snagged Paddington 2 because I love this movie. The first time I saw this, I watched it on an airplane, but I love the first Paddington, and this is just as good. It is so super adorable. Ben Whishaw as the voice of Paddington is the perfect choice. I love the supporting cast of Peter Capaldi, Sally Hawkins, Brendan Gleeson. Everyone in this cast just, it's so good. If you've been writing off the Paddington films, please watch them. They're more than just family-friendly movies. They have heart and a really important message in them. The next movie is the scariest movie I saw this year, which some people will argue about that, but that's Hereditary. This movie, I watched it with only one other person in the theater and immediately did a podcast that night when I was home alone, and I was scared shitless, and I was convinced I was going to see creepy people in every doorway, and this movie just had an impact on me. It was so well done, especially considering it's Ari Aster's directorial debut. Toni Collette is a force to be reckoned with in this movie. And if you love horror movies, check this out. I know a lot of people, especially in the horror community, are divided about this, and I can understand why, but I thought it was a masterpiece. Still more movies to come, guys. I have a problem. Next up is Young Frankenstein with this really cool Best Buy cover. I believe this is a Best Buy exclusive. It could not be. But I love Young Frankenstein. It's one of my favorite Mel Brooks movies. One of my favorite comedies of all time. and I just wanted to own it, and when I saw it was available for Black Friday, I snapped it up. Another Wes Anderson movie added to my collection is The Grand Budapest Hotel. I fell in love with this movie when I watched it last month. It was super dirt cheap on Black Friday, and it's just such a beautiful movie with such a complex storyline, and such a wonderful array of characters, and a very talented cast that I can see myself watching this over and over. I also snapped up the original Halloween on, again, 4K, but standard Blu-ray for me. I love this film. It is one of John Carpenter's best films, in my opinion, besides The Thing. But I love this movie. It is, of course, a horror masterpiece. It's one of the defining movies in horror history. Michael Myers is just such an iconic slasher, and to have this in my collection just feels so right. Plus, it's such a badass black Blu-ray 4K, whatever you want to call it, case. Like, seriously, so cool. And the last movie I got on Black Friday was Ready Player One. I really enjoyed this when it came out. I love the novel, I love the film adaptation, so of course I wanted to snag it, especially for such a cheap price. And yeah, I just love it, and I love this case. It's so shimmery. It's so cool. Next up are the gaming pickups I picked up. That was not redundant at all, Alyssa. But the first one was kind of a big purchase for me, but I needed it. And that is this berry blue PlayStation 4 DualShock 4 controller. I have had my regular controller that came with the PS4 since I first got the PS4 5 years ago when it came out. However many years ago it was when it came out. It's starting to look a little dingy now. It still works, but it doesn't look that great. So I saw this, I fell in love with the color scheme. It was really cheap on Black Friday at Walmart, and I just knew I needed to have it in my life. So now I have this beautiful controller that will eventually take the old controller's place after it becomes too dingy for me to bear to look at. But I'm so excited to have this. I picked up a couple of Switch games. The first one up that I picked up was Pokemon Let's Go Eevee. I love the Pokemon games, and you might be wondering why I didn't get the Pikachu version. It's just because Eevee is my favorite Pokemon. I always call her she, I know there's different genders. It's just so adorable, and I know this is a remake of Pokemon Yellow, but it's obviously upgraded for the Switch. It's got motion controls. I'm really excited to play it because I've heard it's just a wonderful game. I do wish I had the Pokeball controller, but I couldn't force myself to pay an extra $50 for it. So, yeah. Just got the base game, but super excited to play it. And then this game I finally picked up because it was cheap enough for me to warrant picking it up, but that is Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle. My boyfriend is a huge fan of this game, and he totally sold me on it. It looks incredible from the trailers I've seen, and for the price I got it, I could warrant picking it up. And I'm excited to have a larger Switch collection now because I'm starting to like my Switch a lot more now. And I'm excited to play more games on it, so this feels like a perfect addition. I picked this game up because I wanted to support my girl, Sissy Jones. I did a Geek to Geek with her, by the way, if you want to check that out. But Darksiders 3, this is a very difficult game, but so far I'm having fun with it. It's not like the previous two Darksiders, but that's okay. I like it. I like the direction they're going in, and it is challenging, but at the same time, you want to keep going and try to keep moving forward. And I'd say if you like games like Dark Souls, this isn't as intense as those games. If you like games in that vein, then check out Darksiders 3. You don't have to have played the first two Darksiders to play this. It helps, but you don't have to have. I also picked up Batman Arkham Knight because it was super duper cheap, and I wanted to complete my Batman Arkham game collection. Now moving on to PS4 games, I have Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. I almost said Moonlight, but that's the Persona 3 game. This is Persona 5. This is the alternate cover. But I have not played this yet, but I love me some rhythm games, and I loved Persona 5. It was one of my favorite games of 2017. So when I heard they were releasing a dancing game, I had to have it. I also picked up these next two games because they were dirt cheap, and they are steelbooks. But the first one up is Valkyria Chronicles Remastered. It was so cheap, and this is so hard to find, and I love Valkyria Chronicles, and I'm so excited to dive back into it and replay it and see if they've done anything new with the PS4 version, but I'm so excited to have this in my collection. I also picked up Middle-earth: Shadow of War. This is the gold edition. It is brand new, so everything inside has not been used. And it's got the steel booklet. Let me see if I can get it out for you guys. Haha, that's what she said. God dang it, what is with this packaging today? It's just not working with me. It's like the Totoro set, now this doesn't want to come out. Like, jeez. Everything's packaged up. It's not coming out, guys. It's not coming out. It's a really cool steelbook, though. And I love the first Middle-earth game, so I definitely want to dive into this at some point. I've heard it's really good. I know I had a little scandal when it first came out with the macrotransactions, but I hope that's been fixed. But I am really excited because I love Lord of the Rings, so I do want to play this eventually. And of course, the last segment of my pickups are the books. And again, it was Black Friday for most of these, so let's get started. This first book was actually a gift from my mom. It's kind of an early Christmas gift, but it's Paris for One and Other Stories by Jojo Moyes. I love the Louisa Clark trilogy by Jojo Moyes, and this is a very short book. I believe it's short stories. It seems like it'd be short stories. But I'm just excited to read more of Jojo Moyes' work, and it's so sweet of Mom to get this for me because I obviously told her I love the Louisa Clark trilogy, so I'm so excited to have this. Thank you, Mom! And the next two books I actually got for free, which is amazing because I wanted to read these for so long. But the first one up is The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger, and the second one is 1984 by George Orwell. I know most people read these in high school, but my high school didn't require reading, at least in my English classes that I took. So to read these classics is just really exciting for me, and I'm excited to see if I like them or not. But yeah, for free, I couldn't say no. I also got The Green Mile by Stephen King for super cheap at Walmart. I love the film adaptation, haven't read the novel, so I wanted to read it, and when I saw how cheap it was, I had to snag it. And I love Stephen King as an author, so really excited to have this. Now, all the rest of these books are from Book Outlet, and of course, these are all part of their Black Friday deals. I have a Book Outlet problem too. I just have a lot of problems, guys, okay? The first one up is A Respectable Trade by Philippa Gregory. I don't really know what this is about, but you know, I love Philippa Gregory, and I'm trash for her work, so got it. Next is Brooklyn by Colm Tobin. I love the film adaptation and wanted to read the book, so yeah, I got it because it was cheap. Next up is The Boy on the Bridge by M.R. Carey. Okay, focus on me, camera, focus, okay. This is the sequel to The Girl with All the Gifts, which I thoroughly loved, so I'm really excited to dive back into this world. Next one up is a book that I didn't even know existed, but it's Men Without Women by Haruki Murakami. I love Haruki Murakami. He's one of my favorite authors. But for some reason, I didn't know this book existed. I don't know when it was released, when it came out, but when I saw it online on Book Outlet, I had to get it for such a cheap price. And this cover is gorgeous. I mean, it's so stunning. I also got Far From the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. I know this is a classic. I know there have been a couple of film adaptations that have gotten good reviews, but I really wanted to read the novel. This has the nice deckled edges. And yeah, I've heard good things about it. I've heard good things about Thomas Hardy, even though I've never read any of his novels. I feel like this is a good starting off point, hopefully. If it's not, please tell me. Next up is Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. I know this is a sci-fi classic, and I'm really excited to read it because it's a very important novel, and I've heard great things about Octavia E. Butler. Next is And I Darken by Kiersten White. This is a Vlad the Impaler retelling, but it's a female version, and I'm just excited to read it. It's gotten mixed reviews, but I'm excited. I love the tale of Vlad the Impaler, and to read it as a gender-flipped story is going to be really interesting. I also picked up A Darker Shade of Magic, which I believe is the first novel in the Conjuring of Light, Conjuring of Shadows. I forgot what the trilogy name is. Trilogy by V.E. Schwab, which I've heard amazing things about V.E. Schwab, but I've never read any of her novels. So I'm really excited to take a dive into her work with this one. The next novel is The Long Dark Tea Time of the Soul. This is the sequel to Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency by Douglas Adams, which I enjoyed that book, and I'm really excited to continue Dirk Gently's saga, which I believe there are only 2 novels in the series, so this should go by pretty fast. It's a slim novel, so Really excited to read this. Next up is a chunker, and it was so cheap, guys. It just made me almost cry when I saw it, and it's so beautiful. But it's The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. Look how huge this book is. This is freaking huge. It might not look that huge on camera, but it's freaking huge. It's really heavy. But this is, look, it's stunning. It's golden, it's shimmery. I've heard this is a fantasy classic. And I've heard great things about Ken Follett, so I really want to read this. Only a few more books, guys. Hold on with me here. Next up is Feast of Extraordinary Circumstance by Ruth Emmy Lang. I have heard great things about this novel. It's a magical realism novel, I believe, but I've been wanting to read this for a very long time, and when I saw it on Book Outlet, I snapped it up. Next up is The Elises by Sarah Shepard. I believe this is her first adult novel, which I love the Pretty Little Liars novels when I was in high school, which is why I picked this up. This might not be any good, I don't know, but when I saw this was her first adult novel, I had to pick it up because, again, I love the Pretty Little Liars novels when I was a teen, so I'm hoping for good things with this one. And the last book and the last pickup, yay, is The Duchess Deal from the Girl Meets Duke series by Tessa Dare. It's a romance novel, but I've heard her romance novels are very classy. They're a different kind of romance novels. They're not as smutty, I believe, as a lot of romance novels are. And I just wanted to check it out and see what all the hype was about with Tessa Dare, and this was on there, and I don't believe you have to read these in any specific order, so I'll check this out, and I'll let you know my thoughts on my blog, if I liked it or not. If I like it, I'll continue the series. If not, then, oh well, it was cheap. So those were all my Geeky pickups for November and December 2018. If you have read or watched or played any of the things I mentioned, please let me know down below your thoughts on them. If you like this video, leave a like. Make sure to share it because that helps my channel grow. It makes me so happy. If you're new here but you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and also hit the notification bell so you'll always be alerted whenever I upload a new video. If you'd like to follow me on social media sites, those are all linked in the description box down below the video. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Damn it, I have a huge mess to clean up now.